Hello everyone. The one organ in our body which tirelessly works day and night gives us the real meaning of being alive is our heart. And every year, September 29th is celebrated as World Heart Day. Now the question arises, why do we celebrate it? It is a perfect platform for the cardiovascular disease community to unite and fight against the cardiovascular disease and to reduce the global disease burden. World Heart Day is a part of an international campaign to spread awareness about the magnitude and impact of cardiovascular diseases and stroke prevention. The World Heart Federation, in collaboration with World Health Organization, announced the establishment of World Heart Day in 1999 for the first time ever. It takes place all over the globe, highlighting the actions that individuals can take to prevent and control cardiovascular diseases. The government and non-government organizations celebrate and promote World Heart Day with activities such as fun runs, public talks, concerts, and sporting events. This year, the campaign theme is asking to use heart to beat heart, because cardiovascular diseases are the #1 cause of death across the globe. Today, I would like to introduce to Dr. Deepak Puri, Director CTVS at Max Super Speciality Hospital, Mohali, and Founder Global Chairman Cardiomersion, former Assistant Professor PGI Chandigarh, Additional Director Fortis Healthcare Mohali, Executive Director, Cardiac Sciences, IVY Healthcare, to enlighten us about how to take care of our heart, to fight the rising menace of cardiovascular diseases, and to share his knowledge. Use heart to beat heart.
Good evening, friends. This is Dr. Deepak Puri. I am Director of Cardiac Surgery in Max Hospital, Mohali, and today is World Heart Day. And wish you a very happy World Heart Day, everyone. Today I will be speaking with you on how lifestyle, stress and addictions affect our health and how they are interconnected. So everybody is nowadays facing lots of health issues, and one of the major factor that affects the health are what lifestyle we are following. A few decades ago, India used to have a lot of infectious diseases, and they were the cause of illness and death. And in the Western countries, they had controlled the infectious diseases to a great extent. And in India, the infectious diseases, they were the main cause of worry. But then the lifestyle diseases took over, and even in India now, lifestyle diseases, they are the major cause of illness and death. So what is the lifestyle? Lifestyle is whatever we do in our day-to-day life, like what diet we eat, what physical activities we do, how much stress we take, how much sleep we take, and how much rest we take, how happy we are, and how well we are doing in our profession, and how much we socialize, how much happy we are in our relationships. So everything has an impact on our day-to-day life. And then stress is a reflection of our lifestyle. So if you want to say what is stress, stress is basically our reaction to any adverse circumstances. So it is natural that whenever we are in some difficulty, our body reacts in a particular way. Our brain stimulates the body to do certain functions. So that is how we react to the stressful situation. So I'll give you an example, like suppose you are walking on the road and suddenly a dog starts running after you. So that is a stressful situation. So immediately the signal is sent by the brain to our body, and certain hormones are secreted into the circulation. So the chemicals, they activate the organs of the body to do the functions which are required to deal with the situation. So the adrenaline is rushed into our bloodstream, and we have because of that the heart rate increases, our pumping of the heart becomes stronger, our blood pressure rises, the pulse rate rises, the respiratory rate rises, we try to breathe more faster, and all the muscles, they contract more vigorously, and that is why we prepare ourselves to face the situation. So there are two ways in which we can face the situation. One is fight. So either we fight the situation, or the other one is the flight, that we run away from the situation. So for both the situations, the muscles have to act more vigorously, the heart has to pump more blood to the organs of the body, and we have to face the situation. But if you imagine that you are always having a dog running after you throughout the day, and some people, they even have the dog running after them throughout the night, or imagine instead of the dog there is a tiger running after you. So if you make a tiger run after you throughout the day, throughout the night, then you can imagine how much chemicals are generated into our bloodstream, and how much our heart has to pump more, our organs of the body, they have to act more, and then we have created a situation of fight or flight throughout the day, and even sometimes throughout the night. So this is the situation that happens when we start worrying a lot, when we start worrying about things that have not happened, but we imagine that they may happen, or they are likely to happen, or we imagine such situations, that these situations are happening all around. So unnecessarily we are creating a lot of stress. So some amount of stress is necessary for us, because it helps us in improving our functions and giving a better performance. Like when we have stress before the exams, we are able to give a better score in the exams. And also this is known as the good stress or the eustress. But there is a limit, everybody has a limit, and when we stress the stress beyond that limit, then it becomes a problem. Then our functions, first of all, they improve, and then they plateau off, and then they start declining, and a stage comes when we may reach the breakdown stage. And many people, they go into depression. Some people, they may have even suicidal tendencies. Every day you hear in the news, so and so celebrity has done suicide, so and so person, some friend may do suicide, somebody who was doing so well studying in the premier institute of the country, and suddenly you hear that they have committed suicide. So what is that? That is actually the stress that is building up inside their mind, which they are not able to vent off. So how our body reacts to the stress, that is a physiological situation. But when we continuously keep on having stress, it may land up into a disease state. So it may be a physical disease, like some people, they start having high blood pressure, some people develop heart problems, some people develop diabetes, because constantly the blood sugars, they are being generated into bloodstream because of the adrenaline rush. And then some people may even develop cancers. And apart from physical diseases, there may be mental disorders, like many people, they have a lot of prolonged anxiety, depression, and suicidal tendencies. So all these things are preventable. And how we try to prevent them is that some people, they resort to issues like they will seek help of some sort of addictions. So they'll end up, somebody might find relief by smoking. Some people, they take alcohol, and they feel that they can get rid of stress. and other people, like they start taking some sleeping pills, or some they take painkillers to relieve their headaches, and then some people start taking hypnotics or other drugs, and then gradually their system starts demanding that drug, and it gets kidnapped by the addiction, and then they cannot function without that addiction, because that gives a sense of well-being to them. Because once they take the drug or they take the addiction stuff, then they feel that they are doing well, and the stress is no longer there. But actually they are just trying to fool themselves, because they become trapped in the addiction, and then it becomes very difficult for them to get rid of it. So initially there's a stage of dependence when they are just dependent on that addiction, and then later on there comes a stage when they get so much dependent on the addiction that they cannot live without it. And then later on there is a stage when they become totally addicted and they need medical help. So how we can help these people is that, first of all, we should try to prevent such a situation, because prevention is much more easier than treating such a situation. So to prevent these problems, what we should do is we should resort to healthy ways, like we try to relax every day instead of living in stress. We find out some hobbies, some passions which can help us in de-stressing ourselves. And also we can resort to some very easy methods, like some people may be fond of music, some people may be fond of singing or just listening to music, some people might be interested in playing some instrument, and some people might love dancing. Some people, they are fond of some games, so they can go for outdoor or indoor games where there's a lot of physical activity. And then there are other things like yoga, meditation, and then various entertaining form of dance like bokwa, zumba, aerobics. And then when some people like gardening, some people like to do some painting. So everybody has some different hobbies, some different passions, but every day one should spend at least half an hour of their time when they don't think about anything else, just think about their passion, and they just forget everything and follow the passion. And also nowadays lot of evidence is coming about the importance of socialization and relationships, because a lot of stress arises because of professional reasons, sometimes because of academics. Students, they have stress, some people have financial stress, and others, they have stress related to the relationships. So nowadays relationships, they are seen to be less lasting, like people change their relationships frequently, and they cannot hold on to relationships, so that is also becoming a major cause of stress. So how we can deal about these situations is that we should realize the importance of socialization. It has, many studies have shown that those people who remain aloof and those who don't socialize, they have more tendency to get lifestyle diseases like heart disease, like diabetes, and also cancers. So they are more prone to it. They also are seen to have a shorter lifespan and health span compared to those who socialize a lot and those who are in a healthy relationship. So it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you follow. It doesn't matter whether somebody is married or somebody is having a open relationship or whatever type of relationship you are having, but it should be giving you happiness and you should not be stressed because of it. So if you are stressed because of it, then you have to change your ways. So then how we have to deal with it? Once somebody is affected with the relationships, somebody affected with stress, somebody affected with depression or addiction, then how do we treat that person? So what we can do is, first of all we can counsel a person who is prone to addiction or who is likely to land up into addiction. So in the first stage, by just listening to the person and talking to the person will relieve the stress, and then just counseling will help. And then in the next stage, like, we can make the person get involved in activities which are going to help that person in getting rid of the stress. So these activities can be some games, some events like musical events, some kind of activities which the person likes. So that will keep the person busy. And it has been seen that any form of physical activity, it helps a lot in getting rid of stress and getting rid of the addictions. And then we have to first of all give emotional support to the person. Apart from that, when the person lands up in a stage when it is difficult to come out of the addictions with all this support, then the person might need some medical help, some medications, or some people might even require hospitalization and proper de-addiction. So we just should not give up on the person, and many people, they have come out of these addictions and they have started living a very healthy and very active life, and they have done reasonably well after coming out of the addictions. So this is briefly what I have discussed about addictions, and then I can see many questions coming up. So one by one I will try to answer the questions. So here, hi Ridhima. So I can see your question. Please discuss the factors that draw people towards addiction. So as I told you, people get drawn towards addiction mainly either through peer pressure, like some of their friends, they force them to seek addictions, and sometimes it is the stress. If they are not able to cope up with the day-to-day stress, then they get drawn towards the addiction. And then there's a lot of role on what we see on the net, on the media. Some people nowadays, even in the movies, they show that whenever somebody is smoking, they show that smoking is not good for health. But previously people used to show the people smoking in on a very they used to project as if it is a very good thing. So people get drawn to addictions by watching their stars, the celebrities. So I must say that celebrities should consider this as very important, that they should play role models. They should not indulge into activities which will surely be copied by the followers, and then even all those people, they will land up someday into that situation. And then there are other reasons, like somebody has a easy access to those material, like some people who are in the medical profession, they have easy access to many drugs which can lead to addictions. So this is also one of the important reasons. And then I can see another question, like stress management is necessary. Sakshi Agarwal has said. And then Barkha Dua is saying that hi Barkha, what is the impact of addiction on our heart? So this is a very important question, that what is the impact of addiction on our heart. Many times what happens is that, like, suppose you take smoking. Smoking is the number one cause of death in the world nowadays. It is the number one cause of preventable death. Smoking can increase our blood pressure, it can cause heart attacks, it can cause stroke, it can cause cancers. And similarly, alcohol. Alcohol comes as number 3 cause of preventable death nowadays. Alcohol, when taken in excess, it can decrease the pumping of the heart, and it can cause cardiomyopathy. Apart from that, it can also cause so many cancers in the body. And then number 2 cause of death nowadays is obesity. Obesity I think many people will be surprised that overweight and obesity, they are becoming the major cause of death nowadays, because they can lead to so many other problems. The person is more prone to depression, the person is more prone to get heart disease, more prone to get cancers, and more prone to so many other physical and mental problems. And here I can see Neelam Rana. Hi Neelam. So another query is there, very informative. Prabjot Kaur. Ridhima Gupta, thank you for the information. Thank you Ridhima for the patient hearing, and I think this topic needs to be discussed more openly, and everybody gets affected by stress at some stage of their life, and if they have somebody with whom they can talk to or just share their stress, it gives a lot of relief, and it can prevent so many disastrous diseases, and even so many suicides can be prevented by just listening to the person and giving some kind of advice to that person. It can help in a big way. So then there's Sakshi Agarwal is saying how difficult it is to get rid of addiction. So it is difficult to get rid of addiction, but it's not impossible. First of all, the person who is addicted, that person should be willing and should be motivated enough to go ahead with the determination that he or she will come out of the addiction. Next thing is that we have to give total physical, mental and social support to that person, and we should not ridicule that person, we should not make them feel bad about it. We should encourage them and let them come out of the addiction with whatever support they need at whatever stage they are. So initially just by giving some counseling we can help the person, and then in the next stage involving the person in physical activities or other activities that will help the person in gaining confidence and coming out of the addictions. And then in the final stage, then we have to hospitalize the patient, or we have to de-addiction centers are there where we can get the person admitted and get the proper treatment done. So next question, Rajat Gulati is saying, my question is why it is difficult to get rid of addiction. So this is a very important and interesting question, that why it is difficult to get rid of addiction, because our brain gets tuned to that thing which is the cause of the addiction. Like suppose somebody is taking alcohol, so the brain gets tuned to that. So whenever we take the alcohol, the brain is happy and it sends signal to the body. All the other things that are causing stress we forget at that time, and as long as the alcohol levels are there in our bloodstream, we feel that everything is doing fine and we are in a state of well-being. But once that level starts falling down, then the person starts feeling miserable. So it is like when you have a fully charged mobile, so then you can do anything, you can do any activities, you can call anybody, you can open your Facebook, you can open Twitter, you can open anything. And then gradually over the day, as the battery starts going down, then and your mobile activity, it becomes less, and then suddenly it will start beeping that battery is about to finish. So once the battery is finished, then you can't do anything with the mobile unless you recharge the mobile. Similarly, the brain also needs recharging. So to recharge, then the person becomes dependent on that product, like the alcohol or smoking or whatever drugs the person is taking. So there is an irresistible desire to take that thing, otherwise the person will not be able to function at all. But actually then gradually the productivity of the person starts decreasing, and the person is not able to be the same active person, the same efficient person which the person was before he got entangled in the addictions. So Sakshi is saying that consumption of drugs is a crime, So what happens with people who are at the de-addiction centers? They have also consumed drugs at some point of time. Yes, this is very important, that those who have easy access to these drugs, they sometimes they easily fall victim, and they also become addicts. So even in the hospitals, like in our staff also, sometimes we catch some people who are stealing the drugs and becoming addicts. So to prevent that, we have a very strict norms that all those drugs which cause addiction, they are kept under lock and key, and a very responsible person has to sign whenever we take out any drug, and then everything is accounted for, so that somebody cannot just steal the drug and get away with it. So the very strict norms are being followed so that drugs are not misutilized. So next question is from Deepa Aswal. How to get rid of depression or stress so that addiction be avoided at first, because stress is now part of our life. So very right, Deepa, stress is a part of our life. Every day, as I already discussed, we face stress, but sometimes we unnecessarily prolong the stress, or we just invite the stress into our life. So first of all, we should not get entangled into this stress network. We should try to live a very active and healthy life. We should spend time at our workplace, and we should do our work very in an enthusiastic way. We should not just keep on cribbing and cribbing. We should stay away from negative people, and we should, whenever we have free time, we should utilize it properly, and we should never waste any moment just talking negative things. We should not indulge in negative activities, in brooding, in criticizing people, or cribbing about anything. We should do rather something positive, and we should indulge in some active hobbies, some passions. We should travel a lot. We should go in and see nature. Like going to a gym is good, but if you go to a park, then the effect is much better. You see the environment, you see the grass, you see the trees, you see people moving about. It's open air, and then you can relax there. And also you should always develop some passion, whatever you like, whether you like music, you like some painting, or any other hobby. So at least half an hour should be spent on that. So if you do that, then stress will not be able to overcome you. So next question, I mean, are there subject to any legal action? Yes, of course. Like anybody who indulges in either forcing anybody into addiction, or providing addiction drugs to people, they are covered by law, and there are very stringent actions, legal punishments these person can get. So Ridhima, does NCB take action against patients of de-addiction centers? I think NCB doesn't take action against them. Action is taken against those people who are providing drugs, supplying drugs, and those who are suffering from addiction. Help is provided to them, and medical facilities and support are provided to them, so that they can come out of the addictions. So any other questions? Deepa Aswal is saying thank you. Thank you, Sakshi Agarwal. So do we have more time, or should we finish? Anybody wants to ask anything, you are welcome to ask. I hope you all enjoyed it. If anybody knows anyone who needs help regarding addiction, stress, or any information on lifestyle, on how to prevent heart disease, you are welcome to ask me. We have a group called Cardiomersion, It is a global group, and we hold events and talks, webinars, conferences across the globe, and we involve everyone, especially the youngsters, because in India, lifestyle diseases and heart diseases, they are affecting young people. So we have to start awareness at a much younger age, and in teenage, and we have to prevent those diseases, because once the diseases starts its onset, then most of the diseases, they are not curable. They just, we can treat them, but they are not curable. So you, if you become a heart patient or you become a diabetes patient, you remain a patient throughout your life. So there is a question, Prabjot Kaur, how can we bring a drug dependent to mainstream? Drug dependent person, after counseling and after getting rid of the addiction, can definitely come back to his normal profession, and can even do better than what he was doing before, once he's out of that addiction, and once he's back to normal health. So Ridhima is saying very informative session. Thank you, Ridhima. And Prabjot, why many times an addiction leads a person to commit suicide? So see, whenever a person resorts to addiction, this person is the one who is affected by stress to a certain extent, and because of the stress, the person has tried to find solace in addictions. But actually, addiction, it affects your intellectual powers, and your intelligence is affected by the addiction, and the person is not able to realize that what is the actual situation, and sometimes the person has waxing and waning moods. Sometimes the person may be cheerful, sometimes the person may feel so low, and it is during those low moments that the person suddenly decides to take this extreme step of suicide. And if that person is counseled, and if we come to know that commit suicide, then this person needs real help, and with some emotional support and help, this person can come out of that stage, so we can prevent these suicides. How many times addiction leads a person? Yeah, this was the same question. Any other question? Prabjot Kaur is saying, means counseling is the pivotal. Yes, definitely. Counseling, emotional, social support is the main. So, if anyone needs any counseling, anyone needs any, like, we can identify the risk factors in everyone's life. So we have a performa. By filling that performa, we can assess the stress level, we can assess the day-to-day life. From that, we can predict the risk factors in every person's life. I think everybody should get that evaluation done, and it is free of cost. Like, anybody wants to contact me, I can provide you that performa, and then we give free counseling. In that counseling, like, you can discuss your issues, and we can tell you the solutions, so that it can prevent you from stressful situations, how to cope up with the stress, and then also improve your lifestyle, and stay away from addictions. And apart from that, it can save you from so many lifestyle diseases like heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancers, because 80% of such diseases, they are preventable. But unfortunately, nobody wants to prevent. Like, there's so much ignorance. People think that only time they have to consult a doctor is when they become ill, and only they go to the hospitals for interventions. So nobody meets a doctor for prevention. So that is the main reason why so many young people, they are getting affected by such deadly diseases in India. So Prabjot is asking, is that counseling telephonic or in person? Like, it can be telephonic also, it can be in person also, depends on what is convenient to you. So it can, you can even ask me on WhatsApp. You can send me your queries. You can send me on Facebook. You can send me a message, or you can call me up. So everything, all my numbers, my website cardiomersion.com is there. We have a YouTube channel, and in between we keep on posting some informative things. Some are for doctors only, but other things are for general public also, for some patients and those who are not patients, some patients relatives, patients family. So uh, whatever useful material we can gather, we keep on posting that. It's on a YouTube channel by the name of Dr. Deepak Puri. So you can subscribe to that channel also, and if you want to share some information, or if you want to have a counseling session or some event, like, because of COVID we are not able to conduct events, but initially we used to conduct events almost every week or 10 days in some college, university, in some offices, even. And from 2011 we have been holding conference in India as well as abroad, because lifestyle diseases, stress, and addictions, and all these problems, they are on the rise nowadays. But in India, they are getting out of proportion. Like, they are affecting young people, and they are affecting people to a larger extent. Rajat Gulati is saying, thank you, sir. Very informative session. Thank you, Rajat. So any other queries would you like to discuss with me? Just let me know. Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure to be with you, and I'm sure we are going to make India free of all addictions very soon.